Hi everybody. So this is my little Lola that usually is the one that barks when I'm doing a video. It's because the dog next door runs outside and they bark to each other over the fence. So this is her little pint-sized Lola. She's only tiny and she's in desperate need of a haircut. We're waiting for the groomers to come and clean her up a bit. And don't let that cute little face fool you. She's got an evil side too. She can get quite nasty. I think that's the breed though, isn't it? But there you go, Miss Lola. You've been on the video. Off you go. So, I want to talk to you today about understanding when you have limiting beliefs or you have something in your subconscious that you haven't really thought about, which is blocking you in some area of your life. Especially this, I did this exercise years ago and it made me realize where I had some belief systems around money and where I kind of blocked the energy of money flowing to me because of the way I was thinking. So there's this little exercise you can do to kind of help you understand if you do have money blocks that you may not be aware of. So first of all, I just want you to just relax for a moment. Just take a deep breath, let it all out. Just let the stress out. So when you're doing that, when you're taking a deep breath and centering yourself, you're connecting with feeling inside your body. You're feeling how your body is reacting and what your deep consciousness belief is around something. So, oh, my voice this morning. Excuse me. So, keep yourself relaxed. Take a couple of deep breaths. Just drop the shoulders. Feel into your body. And I'm going to ask you a few questions and I want you to feel how that feels to you. Feel if it's accepting to you or sense if you're kind of pushing away on what I'm about to say. So if I if I gave you $1,000, would you accept it? It's from my hard-earned money. I'm not wealthy. But if I chose to just help you out, no, I don't want it back. It's not a loan or anything. If I just wanted to help you and just hand you $1,000, would you accept that? Now, maybe you might go, no, I don't think I could take that off you. Or maybe you would be like, yeah, that would really help me at the moment. I'm happy to take it. So whatever you feel. Now, what if I said to you, I'm just going to give you $5,000? No questions asked. I'm just going to give you $5,000 because I like you and I want to help you out. It's going to go make my bank account go down, but I'm happy to give you $5,000. Would you accept that? Or would you be like, no, that's way too much money. I couldn't accept that. Maybe you are happy to just take it. Maybe you feel like the world owes you something and yeah, you would just take that without any questions asked and just disappear. What about if I said to you, I'd give you $50,000? How does that feel in your body? Like if I was to give you $50,000, could you accept that? Or is that way too much money? Maybe you were happy to take the $1,000. Maybe you'd take the $5,000, but $50,000, is that your limit? Is that your limit of saying, oh, hang on, I'm not worth you giving me that much money? I might be worth $1,000, but I'm not worth you giving me $50,000. And what about $100,000 or $500,000? How do you feel? What do you feel is your limit on what you can accept into your world as it being given to you? No questions asked. And from that exercise, but then hang on, what if I then said to you, what if I was going to give you $500,000 because I just won 80 million in lotto? Does it make a difference to you if I won the money and I had so much of it, I could afford to give it away? rather than you taking money from me and not knowing what my circumstances would be. Because you're deep underneath all that, your belief system may be that you can't get money that easily. It has to be worked for. You have to sacrifice to get money. You have to work hard to get money. It can't just land in your lap like that. So where you, like going back to your childhood, where do those belief systems come from? Did you have parents that told you that you always have to work hard for money? So that belief system stuck to you. Or you can't accept money because you can't be a charity case. Like the belief systems can come from when you're so young. I know with me personally, my dad used to continually say, like right throughout me growing up, and he still says it to this day, he would say, I've never had very much money, but I've always had enough. So he was showing his appreciation that he's always had just what he needs. So my belief system growing up is it's greedy to want more. You just have to have enough. It's way too greedy to want more than that. And so that was somehow instilled in me in the way, and also everyone else that was in my family always used to say, you'd hear discussions around the kitchen table where they would, if somebody died and somebody got left an estate, they got left a whole heap of money, or if someone was fortunate enough to be born into a wealthy family and their parents just gave them everything, there was this envious, jealous kind of energy where, well, we've had to work really hard for it. We just haven't had it handed to us on a silver platter. So it kind of instilled in me also as a child that my journey is I was not born into a wealthy, lucky family, so it can't get handed to me like so easily. It has to be worked for, because everybody in my family would say you have to work hard for your money. Like grandparents, aunties, uncles, they'd all say you have to work hard for your money. You can't just have it given to you. So you might have had belief systems around money where if money's just been handed out willy-nilly in your family, it might be a thing. You might be really accepting of just getting something for nothing without having to work for it. Or you may feel like you have to work for it to get it, to earn it. And then that comes back down to, how do you see your self-worth? Are you worthy enough to just be given things? Do you allow yourself to just accept things? Even down to compliments. If somebody compliments you, are you willing to accept that compliment with gratitude, or do you kind of divert and then go, oh, thanks? Like it's an embarrassing thing to accept a compliment. Are you someone who would rather be the one who's complimenting somebody else than receiving? What do you feel is your worth? Like, do you not deserve to be complimented? And these belief systems can be in all areas, and we kind of don't really go deep enough to see where they've come from. Another one is with weight loss. When you specifically focus on, it has to be a diet, I have to lose 15 kilos in 8 months. If you give yourself a time frame, you give yourself a goal, all you're doing is creating something that you want without getting deeper into, why does it have to be in this 6-month period? Why can't I now decide to be a healthy person for the rest of my life? Because if you call it a diet, you've put an expectation on it. And then you expect that in 6 months' time, you're going to lose that 15 kilos or 10 kilos. If you don't lose it, your expectation, you end up being disappointed in yourself. But if you forget all about the word diet and just focus on, this is my body, this is what carries me around every day, and I haven't been looking after it. I haven't been thinking about what I've been putting into my mouth. I just expect my body to just carry on regardless of me looking after it. You don't do that with your car. You go get your car serviced and you get the tires changed when they get bald. So why do you not look after your body in a healthy way? So deep down, is there something blocking you saying, I'm worth this? Like, this body is worth it. If you come at it from a different angle and try to forget about this body is you. Try to think of the soul, your soul that came here to earth, and your soul is using this body as a vessel to experience life. Just like you use a car to get somewhere. So if you look at it more like you've been given a vessel so that your soul can go for the experiences, are you going to look after that vessel? Is the vehicle is your body. Are you going to look after it so it can continue to give you more experiences? And then just focus on that for the rest of your life, is looking after this body. Don't focus on it's just 6 months and I'll go on a diet and I'll get to what I want. It has to be a change for the rest of your life. And it's centered around looking after the body. So these belief systems that we have, I had my own experience. I thought that I had got over things when I was a child. Into adulthood, I'm like that. That couldn't still be upsetting me. But deep down, things really still have a way of upsetting you. And I remember when I was 4 years old, I don't know what I did, but I must have been extremely naughty at home, or my brother and I were fighting or something. And Mum couldn't handle me at the time, so she told me to get out at 4. She said she didn't want me anymore and I had to get out. So rather than sitting in my room and crying, I was a very strong-willed, stubborn child. So I went and packed a little kindy bag and I went across to Mary, who lived across the road, and asked her if I could live with her. So my whole life has been find a quick solution and get on with things. So I packed up my kindy bag and went to Mary's house, and I went inside and I said to Mary, can I live with you? Because Mum doesn't want me anymore. And I wasn't crying. And Mary obviously then rang my mum and got my mum to come across the road, and then Mary sat and had a talk with my mum. And it was like years later, there must have been something in that made me think I wasn't worth having. Like, my own mother wanted to give me away when I was only 4 years old. I wasn't worthy of being here. And it created this real stubbornness in me where I didn't want help from anybody. I thought, no, I'm going to do this on my own. Anyone would offer me help, I would push them away. Anyone that would try to give me love, I would push them away because I didn't think I was worthy. And as I got older, I thought, I'm such a strong person. I'm a strong personality and I'm determined. But I didn't realize that because I couldn't see my own worth, I was stubborn and not actually letting people in. I wasn't letting anyone into my life to help me. And it was from that moment, like it was something must have been sitting in my consciousness about I'm just not worth it. So if you've ever been told any time, just like once, that was just a once off. My mum didn't kick me out again, but that one time, it stuck in my subconscious and it stayed there for a very, very long time. And as I became a mother myself, I then understood that my mum was probably so stressed she couldn't, at the time, whatever she was going through emotionally, she couldn't cope and she took it out on me. And it's It's something to very much be aware of if you are a parent with young children and you are really stressed. You know, kids can drive you insane. I remember when mine used to come home from school, they just about kill each other. The house was just chaos, absolute chaos. And I'd be yelling and they'd be yelling. And it's like, but you've got to kind of remember if you're stressed and if you're not coping, and if you say that one wrong thing to your child, like get away, I don't want you, it can stick. It can stick in their subconscious. And then when they get to be an adult, they might not see their worth. They might not think they're worthy, which would start them on their own journey of trying to find their own worth. Because if a parent is pushing you away, what hope have you got of anyone else wanting you? When you get into that, finding that place that's where it started, it's so good to go down to that place where it started, that first feeling. If you can go back to that time and just think about it, and then remind yourself that you love who you are. It doesn't matter. They were going through something at the time and they didn't realize the impact that they were having on you. But what about you? Were you not there for yourself? Did you abandon your own self? I'd love this absolutely beautiful exercise that you can do. We might do it now if you've got time. You might have to come back and watch this later if you don't have time. But if you should be relaxed. So keep yourself relaxed. Shut your eyes. Just shut your eyes for a moment and picture yourself. Go back to a time when you were a child. The first time that you're drawn to, like an age that you're just drawn to, because there's something around that age where you're trying to bring something up from the past. So with your eyes shut, I want you to go back to a certain age and I want you to visualize what you looked like at that age. What was your hair like? What were the clothes that you're wearing? What was your personality like at that age? What kind of a kid were you? What were you feeling around that time? Did you feel loved by everybody around you, or did you feel like nobody was listening to you? Did you feel hurt? Or what is it about that time that you're really feeling? And then I want you to imagine that you are who you are today and you have your child self standing in front of you. I want you to hug yourself as a child, because in your mind you can create the picture of you today and you as a child. And I want you to hug you as a child and tell yourself how much you love you and you are very, very sorry that you abandoned that child because other people were hurting that child and you weren't there for yourself. You also abandoned yourself. And say sorry to your child, your inner child, and tell that little child that you love that child more than anybody else in this world. And you're never, ever going to abandon that child again, ever. And then I've done this exercise many, many times, and quite often I just imagine myself as an 8-year-old coming with me today in this time frame and showing that 8-year-old what I became. I'm showing that 8-year-old who I turned into, all the things I conquered. And nothing, I'm never focusing on the negative. It's just because they were all just experiences and it brought me to where I am today. And I love doing that exercise. I mean, the first time I did that exercise, I cried and cried and cried because I realized I'd abandoned the little girl that needed me. Everyone else abandoned her and I abandoned her as well, along with everyone else. And I was the one person that should have been there looking after myself. And it just cleared the way to know my worth. It cleared the way. So I have my boundaries now. I know what my worth is. I don't have to get upset if somebody's feelings are hurt by something I'm doing. I don't have to be upset if I've intentionally set out to hurt them. That's something that they're going through with their own insecurities. So, yeah, have a little think about, where do your beliefs, what subconscious beliefs have you got under the surface there that's blocking you in some way? Is it blocking you with getting money? Do you feel like you're worth? Do you feel like you're worth having $500,000? And would you not feel guilty for having that? Would you feel guilty for having it because there's other people out there that are so much worse off than you? But look at it this way. If you had that money, you could share it with people that need it. Don't always look at it like, oh, I couldn't have $80 million in a Powerball win because that's way too much money. But think of all the people you could help. You could keep 1 million and share $79 million with so many people. Look at it like that way. Look at it how you can get what you deserve and share it. Get the love that you deserve and then share it. So I'm just noticing so much in readings lately with people that are really struggling to know what their worth is and what they actually feel like they deserve in life. And it's interesting, and it's, you should get down to the layers of, where did that come from? Who told you you're not worth anything? Did you go to school one day and the teacher told you were stupid and it stuck? And it's also important for you to remember now as an adult what you are saying to children, because it only has to take one sentence and it can stick with a person for the rest of their life. So yeah, that was my little talk today on not get down underneath the layers and find out what's really going on with the way that you see yourself. And I'm so happy that my little Lola is asleep on the floor down there and she hasn't barked at all. So yeah, that's it for today. Where are we today? Wednesday. I need my glasses to see the 16th of June, halfway through June. Still not a lot happening around the world. It's like I just said to someone yesterday, it kind of feels like we are learning so much about different things, but nothing's being done about it. It's like we are seeing truths come out and we are really like when those G7, the politicians, go together and they had a photo taken where they're all sitting on separate chairs, an arm's length away from each other. They have their masks on and they are social distancing for the camera. Photos taken, all good. Cameras go off, they take the masks off, they all go and hug each other. It's like, do you think we are so hypocritical that we don't notice these things? You're telling us, you're giving us rules, and yet you're going exactly the opposite. It's almost like you're laughing at everybody that's following along with the rules that you're creating, these people that are in power. And we are not stupid people. We see it. We know it. So, and I can see that everybody is seeing this and realizing it, but still nothing's getting done about it. So it's a very long process. So I hope everyone has a good day. It looks like it's going to be a stormy, wintry day here. And I will talk to you soon. See ya.